I've started sleeping with my boss and she's set it up at work so that I can basically pretend to work all day. But I want out of the situation. So I started working for a cold calling company in September. Basically what I do is read a script and try and get people to agree to a loft inspection. But since I started I've been struggling to meet the minimum expected amount of yeses. I knew I was on the edge of being sacked or honestly just leaving because of how completely embarrassingly shit I am at it. Until I decided like 3 weeks in to go to the pub with a few people who worked in the office including our boss Michelle who is 46. Long story short, we went home together and we have been sleeping with each other and meeting up outside of work a lot ever since. I'm 19 and seeing as she's my boss but not that high up in the pecking order, I thought she'd be happy if I left so that I wouldn't get her in trouble. But she wants me to keep working there. I told her I wanted to leave 3 weeks ago and she begged me not to and promised that she'd do something for me at work to make it easier. I think she thinks if I quit then I'll stop seeing her, which in all reality I probably would, but she's gone to some lengths to get me to stay. What she has done is that I now sit in the office pretending I'm talking to people all day and she's making it seem legit. I kind of want out of the situation, but she has basically told me that if I stopped working there she'd have to tell her boss the truth about me pretending to work. And she's acting like she would literally have to, even though I don't know why she would have to, and I think she's lying about that for obvious reasons. Advice would be appreciated. Get out. Who cares if she tells on you? 1. She won't. 2. So what? Yeah. Premise is that if you quit, she will tell boss man that you were fake working. What are they gonna do about it? Fire you? They can't, you already quit. That's why this woman ratted you out, 'cause you quit. Oh, who cares what the consequences are? They won't affect you anyways, do you, bro? Start seeking another job. Shine up your resume and look for another job. Don't worry too much about repercussion from her, as she isn't going to want to let information out that will make her look bad. She's just using you anyhow. What she's doing is sexual harassment. It's illegal and you can report her to your company's HR department. I suggest you report her. How exactly is she gonna spin that she used her position of power to essentially bribe you into sex while at the same time letting you slack off and do no work? She has a lot more skin in the game than you do. I wouldn't worry. I, 26F, realized I had hooked up with my BF's, 27M, married dad, 50SM, before we got serious. Tried to explain the situation in the title but it sounds weird. As it should, I guess. I've been messing with a dating app since 2019, on and off, using it for hookups mostly, if I'm being honest. I had met my now BF on there at the end of 2019 but we didn't become exclusive until April 2020. We've been living together since July, all is great. I can see myself with this guy long term. That said, around March 2020, I've hooked up 5 to 6 times with a man from that same app. Let's call him Donald. Well, Donald was a handsome, fit, hot AF dude in his 50s but looking 40. We hooked up at his house, or I thought it was his, 4 times and once in his squad car while he was working nights. Now remember that this was a hookup and I didn't care to ask anything about his life, marital status, kids, etc. We did not keep in touch after I told him I got in a serious relationship. Now cue January 2021. By the grace of God, we managed to not go to my boyfriend's parents' house for the holidays because my boyfriend couldn't leave work. So meeting the parents got postponed until now. He told me a lot about his family but I've never seen them. Until tonight, my boyfriend rolled out some pics with his mom, sister, brother, and dad. My eyes must have popped out of my skull when I caught a glimpse of his dad. It's him. It's fucking him. My boyfriend noticed my reaction and asked what's wrong. I mumbled something about his brother resembling a high school classmate, woman face palming. Now, 2 issues. We are supposed to visit his parents on Thursday for a barbecue. As it turns out, his parents are very much married and, seemingly, happy together. They are also very religious and overall conservative, so the idea of them being into polyamory or swinging is off the table. I've contemplated texting Donald and basically telling him what's up. That could backfire though and upset my boyfriend because I hadn't told him first. Just know it's going to be awkward as hell either way. Should I just keep my mouth shut and never tell my boyfriend about it? Thanks in advance. You need to tell your boyfriend now. Do not tell the dad. Spill it all to your boyfriend. The fact the girl even thought about that makes me feel bad for her boyfriend tbh. This post made my skin crawl. Sheesh. Either you tell your boyfriend and let him know or break up because that ain't right or natural in any way. I say just break up, the whole thing's fucked. Definitely tell your boyfriend, and before you meet his parents. It would make it so much more if it blows up and you knew and didn't tell him. He'd probably be really embarrassed. Also, if you want a future with him, you can't lie to him about this. Yeah, don't think that relationship can be saved. Not sure any guy would like the idea of his dad hooking up with his girlfriend. Come clean and whatever happens, happens. You need to tell your boyfriend. You can't keep this from him. Doing so would be deceitful and gross. How do I forgive them for what they did to me? How do I move on? Move past it. I'm 20 years old, Irish Nigerian female. I have one of the strictest parents you can imagine. Well, at the time anyways. I've since moved out and studying my masters in London. When I was 15 or 14 I got caught using Facebook when I wasn't allowed and got beaten, so I ran away to my BSF at the time house in my pajamas. Of course within minutes my parents were called. They talked and all and I had to come home. I thought everything had calmed down, but as soon as I reached the kitchen my dad slapped me so hard I flew access the room. Then he got the scissors. As I was on the ground he came over to me and he cut one of my braids and I realized he had cut it really short. Anyone reading this who is African knows how long it takes to grow out hair. My hair was down to my lower back. I took pride in it. I loved it so much. I had my own relationship with my hair. It made me laugh, it made me cry. Every auntie who walked through my house door and took one look at me would always say, "My God, look how long and full your hair is." My hair is everything to me and my parents knew this. I started shouting and struggling, but my dad was stronger than me and he was cutting. My mom came and started helping him. I have never struggled this hard in my life. I've never felt so helpless, so vulnerable. I don't care that I was beaten. I begged them to beat me instead, to punish me like that. But don't cut my hair. Before too long he had cut every braid to about 3 or 4 inches. I was devastated. But my mom, of course, she's never satisfied. She revels in this. To punish us, she got out my dad's clipper, and through more struggle she shaved my head completely bald. She scraped every hair off. I had to deal with the next level kind of bullying after that. The first day I came to school, I made sure to take a hoodie, but my dad said he would drop me off. When I got down from the car I searched for my hoodie but I couldn't find it. My dad took it out. I stayed outside of the school doors for an hour before a guy in my class came and he started laughing at me and I told him what happened. He's African so his smile quickly faded. He gave me his jacket after I begged and I put it on my head. I had to find ways to hide the whole day until the vice principal came into the bathroom and demanded I give her my jacket. I told her what happened but she just said, "I don't care. Give it to me." I asked her why she constantly lets the guys wear hats and hoodies and jackets and she just demanded I give it to her. I ended up doing so. Luckily it was my last class of the day. I walked into bio and I got called egghead, that I had cancer, ugly, all sorts. But when class ended, I made sure to wait a few minutes so everyone leaves the general purpose area and goes home. After about 10 minutes I looked through the door window and there was a huge crowd, full of guys and girls in my year and the years above me, waiting for me to come out. I was definitely not going out there, but the teacher told me to leave, that she had to go and lock the room. She didn't care about the situation. She forced me outside. When I opened the door there was a roar of laughter and names howled at me. There was flashes in my face and people recording me. I've never felt so humiliated. in my entire life. When I walked home, Elle and Sebastian was in front of me and Elle ushered me over saying I looked pretty and all. Then she asked Sebastian, isn't she pretty? Sebastian was a popular guy. He said she's ugly. No one looks pretty bald. Ella didn't say anything after that and I just fell behind and walked back on my own. When I got in the house, my dad was at the computer and he asked how was school. I said fine. Every day I contemplated how to kill myself. I had heard a student killed themselves drinking bleach in school and I wanted to do that. At first I thought taking pills would be better. That night I swallowed 19 pills. They were all different, just random ones from the medication box. I didn't die. I tried to drown myself. I tried to cut myself. I didn't have rope to hang myself. I wrote all this down. How I wanted to die. Girl saw me writing at lunch, told principal and principal called parents and mom read it. Mom screams at me on way home and calls me an attention seeker blah blah blah. It's been years now. I try to hide looking at my hair in the mirror even though it's grown out and to a lot of people it's long. But I just can't. I've had counselor for PTSD and depression. Didn't work. I've tried to talk to my dad about it and he accepts that it wasn't right, but my mum, I'm not even gonna bother talking about how she tries to defend her every action or she denies the ones that makes her look really bad. I want to get over it. Fully forgive them. But I don't think I ever will. I don't think I can. I woke up today thinking about it. I wish I struggled more. Maybe bit my dad's leg or something. Or I could have ran and got a knife and threatened to stab myself if they did it. Why didn't I do more to protect my hair? It wasn't just hair to me. It was a part of me. One I'll never get back. How do I move past this? How? I cry every time I think about it. The anger overwhelms me. Edit. I really didn't expect more than 5 replies, but thank you. Thank you so much. I read every single comment and I've taken a lot away from them. It's a difficult journey I'm on, but I can see that it's not impossible. I'll get there. I will. Thank you once again. Thank you 20. First of all, you have a right to never forgive them for what they did. You were just a child and they cut your hair to humiliate you. They do not deserve your forgiveness, and you should only forgive them if it will help you heal. If not, fuck them. I see that you blame yourself for not fighting hard enough. I want you to know that you did nothing wrong. How could any of this be your fault? Little kids should not have to know how to properly protect themselves from parents' abuse. I don't even know you, but reading this made me want to cry. None of this was your fault. The only people to blame are your parents. Healing takes time. The best you can do is give yourself time. Do not feel like you have to forgive your parents, and I strongly suggest you go no contact with them because seeing them would remind you of the abuse. Try to be kind to yourself and remind yourself that what happened was not your fault. There wasn't anything you could do better. There wasn't anything you could do more. There are many people to blame in your story, but you are not one of them. You should never forgive them. Accept it and move on, sure, but never forgive them or have a relationship, especially until they come crawling on hands and knees, genuinely very apologetic, etc. Honestly, they're abusive people and not worth your time. Cut them off. You escaped. You're in London now. By all means, stay in touch with your siblings. At least they know they will always have someone in their lives who believes them if your parents have moved on to abusing and assaulting them too. I hope you have since regrown your hair. They can't take that away from you now. Perhaps mention this to a therapist and it could be used as evidence to establish a welfare check on your siblings every so often. You don't have to talk to or forgive your parents if you don't want to. They likely don't see anything wrong with the abuse and they never will.